Yeah. Okay, hello everyone on our meeting video, and today we going to discuss. And before we started, we introduce ourselves. And let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rafi Ardiansyah. I'm from Vocational High School 1 Surabaya. Next.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Tafidlar Rashid from SMKN 1 Surabaya, majoring in multimedia. Next.
Hello, my name is David Irwan Maulana. I am from Yogyakarta, SMK Negeri 1 Sandin.
Hello, my name is Ariel Indrisandra. I am from SMKN 1 Sande, Jakarta.
And okay, I wanted to tell you about my article titled "Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte to Quit Politics After Collapse of Government." The article written by Danica. Agent France, Press, or The Hague. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte said on Monday he would quit politics after the fall of his coalition government, in a shock and to the career of the Netherlands' longest-serving leader. Rutte, who has led for coalition government since 2010, said he would stand down after elections expected in November following the collapse of the coalition in a row of migration. I would like to say something personal. There has been speculation over the past few days about what motivates me. The only answer is the Netherlands. Rutte told Parliament yesterday morning, I took the decisions that I am no longer suitable to be the new head of the list for the PVD, he said, referring to his center-right party when the new government is sworn in after the elections. I will quit politics. Rutte, who is Europe's second longest serving leader after Hungary's Viktor Orban, added that this was his personal assessment independent of the event of the past week. The decisions came as a surprise, as Rutte had said in press conference on Friday that he had the energy to seek a fifth term in office, although adding that he would think the matter over. Rutte, long dubbed the Teflon Premier, for his ability to ensure the political scandals did not stick to him, said at the time he would stay on in caretaker capacity until elections, which will not be until mid-November at earliest. But he faces a vote in parliament later on Monday that will try to topple him as caretaker premier. The left-wing opposition parties and the far-right party of anti-Islam leaders have filed a motion of no confidence in Rutte. Farmers' movement to success, the vote needs the support of at least one of the four parties in Rutte's coalition that will on Friday, Dutch media said. Jesse Clever, leader of the Kremlins, a Kremlin party that is among those trying to unseat Rutte, said the prime minister had let the government fall of his own political interests. That's why Grumblings and PPDA, a labor-oriented party, are submitting a motion of no confidence against Rutte, adding that they wanted a stand in premier until elections were held. Wilders, known for his inflammatory rhetoric on immigration, said an outgoing prime minister can also be forced to leave. We will try that. The list coalition collapsed on Friday over Rutte's plan to tighten curbs on reuniting families of asylum seekers. In a bid to curb numbers of arrival following a scandal last year of an overcrowded migration center. Christian Union, a Christian Democratic Party, and the center-left Democracy 66 has strongly opposed its plan. Dutch media said Rutte had given the other parties an ultimatum to look to on migration for hardliners within his own party. Rutte himself has said there were tensions at the party's conference in June over migration. The election for a post Duterte now promised to be some of the most divisive in a generation, with a toxic trio of issues including migration, injury farmers, and the cost of living. An upstart farmers party that opposed European Union packed environmental rules and came first in Senate election early this year is hoping to repeat its success. The leader of the Farmer Citizen Movement (PPP), Caroline van der Plas, has refused to serve in a coalition with her. Okay, next, Muhammad Hafiz Al Rashid. Can you tell about your
Okay, thank you, Muhammad Raffi. Yeah, now I wanna tell or I read my newspaper about a Figure lady reveals prehistoric woman's leadership, megalithic tomb, more impressive than any others know on the Peninsula. When archaeologists discovered megalithic tomb in Spain dating back nearly 5,000 years and bearing some ancient items such as a dagger made of crystal, ortiz, eggshell, and African elephant dust, they knew that person buried inside was a powerful figure. What they did not realize was that this woman, researchers said not on Thursday, an analysis to animal showed the body entombed and the site near Seville was not a man previously thought, finding that indicated the leadership role women played in this ancient society that predated the pyramids of Egypt and perhaps and elsewhere. She has been dubbed the Ivory Lady because of the fine craft ivory graph objects surrounding her and the fact the fuel elephantas was laid above her head during burial as if protecting her in a tomb dating to between 2800 and 2100 BC. The tomb exhibit in 2008 was more impressive than any older now in the Libyan Peninsula from the time, and she stands out as the prominent person ever that lived the period in the region and the University of Professor Prehistoric Leonardo Garcia San Juan, one of the authors of the researcher published on the journal Nature. While the researcher do not know precisely who she was or what societal role she played, the suspect she combined political and religious power and may have been viewed as founder of an important clan. No male of similarly high status has been found at a site located nearby a similarly lavish tomb containing the bodies of 15 women thought to be been built by people claiming this came from the Ivory Lady. The millennium BC is major transformation in Mesopotamia and Egypt. The early recent rise of the third millennium was corresponded to early dynastic polities in the British Isles. It is the peak of the time Stone Age major megalithic monument in sanctuary. Like Garcia San Juan said, in the Liberian, it is time increased social complexity within densification of production, more availability of surplus, growing interregional connectivity and cross social inequality and political hierarchy. The free lady reflects all the element that Garcia San Juan said. And this time, period on the Liberian Peninsula features complex societies, but with the of formation of political entities like states. The study throws new light on. And Garcia San Juan said again, a problem we know precisely little social or political role of women among listed societies. And the Ivory Lady show that women may have taught high leadership position during the cooperation, a transitional period between Stone Age and technologically separate Stone Age. The political complexity of pre-state societies is usually associated with concepts such as big man or state form, which explain the emergence of early form of leadership. That study culture, Miriam Luciano review. researcher in the University of Sheffield Department Prehistoric and Archaeology. And in the ethnographic literature, there's leaders of Boston Mills, however, study profits and that may help to reverse interpretation of Liberian Peninsular and European prehistoric, showing that we still know little about the role of women in position of power during period. And she's added, the tomb skeleton fragmentary state in the dominant gender, certain features had led to an earlier conclusion that the person was likely male. The research solved the mystery analyzing a molar and Caesar detecting breast conference gratulation are certain animal performing protein ritual. It was a woman. And Luciano Trivio said one of the key to progress in prehistoric archaeology is the use of all new analytical methods available. Okay, that is from me. Okay, next, Arizal Wintry, you can read your newspaper.
Food and delivery by our robot could begin yes year. But can Switzerland article in the Kens over robotic wins for deliver food restorative and disaster years. They only next year in more and expand the lives of humanity workplace. What program the VP official thought routing like again and intensive intensive and recent years the biggest number of violent conflicts since World War II. According to the United Nations, the WFP, the UN's World Fund Agency, alone lost 3 works April this year in Sudan conflict. Sometimes it's too dangerous to some in the travel of BPP stuff. So using that technology got actually the state saying site will not quite to hit the VIP innovation department. What was speaking in the sindles of a conference organized by the International Telecommunication Union in Geneva to make the case for all to have respect because such eliminating halal trucks are amphibious and can carry about 1 to 2 tons of food each. They will face conflict during the battle for Syria and all the rain was operation by the United Nations World Food Program is then lots food water of to deliver aid to vulnerable communities in Greece as John placed that South Sudan 1 March 19 to between 2012 and 2016 when humanitarian works struggled to get aid to basic part of the city side. Truck were expensive and request space not readily available in the part of Syria side. The young agency is already using about 15 of the fins in South Sudan, but they current in a regular driver. As part of the ahead autonomous humanitarian emergency and defense project with the Kilman Aerospace Center. The EVP will test them with hot river early next year. Website is used to combine data men from various sources in cloud, satellite, and sensor. Growing remote devices virus. South Sudan, where some 7 million people face suffer food insecurity and voting members access. It is said to be first place for the rollout website. Next, Rafif Irfan Maulana.
I wrote and on record the plot of the world with Peter Agenza, Presa, University, Switzerland. A panel of artificial intelligence enabled humanoid robot called a United Nations Summit on Friday. They could eventually do the work better than humans, but the social robot said the while humans solve process with caution when embracing the rapidly developing potential of artificial intelligence and admitted that they cannot yet get a proper grip on human emotion. Some of the most advanced humanoid robots were at the as to uns today I forgot global summit in Geneva. The journey the joined around experience in the field to try to harness the power of AI and channel it into being used to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, such as climate change, hunger, and social care. They were assembled forward was billed as the world's first press conference with a packed panel of all-enabled humanoid social robots that would a silent tension when robot sat before the press conference began raiding the room asked about whether the make better leaders given human capacity to make error Sophia developed by Hansori robotic was clear. We can achieve great things. Humanoid, humanoid robots have the potential to genuine a greater level of efficiency and effectiveness than human leather. It's said we don't have the same be access or emotion that can sometimes plot decision making and can process large amounts of data quickly in order to make the best decision. AI can provide unbiased data while one can provide the emotional intelligence and creativity to make the best decision. Together we can achieve great things. The summit is feeling convened by net Uns International Telekommunikasi Union (ITU) Tech and ANSI ANSI ITU Jeff Doren Bob dan Martin Warnet Delegate That's I plot and up in a nightmare scenario in which millions of jobs are put at risk and on food hack advances led to untold social social unrest, geopolitical instability, and economic disparity. America would combine AI with a highly realistic artificial head set the dependent on how AI was deployed. We saw be cautious but also excited for the potential of these technologies to improve of life. The robot said asked whether humans can use the machines it revealed trust is earned not given. It is important to build trust strong transparency, technocracy, technocracy.
Okay, guys, I will read my article about Dutch Prime Minister Rutte to quit politics after collapse of government, and the article written by Danny Gam. Asian friends, press of the hate. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte said on Monday he would quit politics after the fall of his coalition government, in a shock end to the career of the Netherlands' longest-serving leader. Rutte, who has led for coalition government since 2010, said he would stand on after elections expected in November following the collapse of the coalition in a row over migration. I would like to say something personal. There has been speculation over the past few days about what motivates me. The only answer is the Netherlands. Rutte told Parliament. Yesterday morning, I took the decisions that I am no longer suitable to be the new head of the list for the PVD, he said, referring to his center-right party. When the new government is sworn in after the elections, I will quit politics. Rutte, who is Europe's second longest-serving leader after Hungary's Viktor Orban, added that it was his personal assessment independent of the event the past week. The decisions came as surprise, as Rutte had said in a press conference on Friday that he had the energy to seek a fifth term in office, although adding that he would think the matter over. Rutte, long dubbed the Teflon Premier for his ability to ensure political scandals did not stick to him, said at the time he would stay on in caretaker capacity until elections, which will not be until mid-November at the earliest. But he faces a vote in Parliament later on Monday that will try to topple him as caretaker premier. To left, wing opposition parties and the far-right party of anti-Islam leaders have filed a motion of no confidence in the farmers' movement. To succeed the vote needs the support of at least one of the four parties in Rutte's coalition that fell on Friday, Dutch media said. Jesse Clever, leader of the Groenlings, a grand left party that is among those trying to answer Rutte, said the prime minister had let the government fall out of his own political interests. That is why Groenling and PPDA, a labor-oriented party, are submitting a motion of no confidence against Rutte. I think that they wanted a stand in premier until elections were held. Wilders, known for his inflammatory rhetoric on immigration, said then outgoing prime minister can also be forced to leave. We will try that. The last coalition collapsed on Friday over Rutte's plan to tighten curbs on reuniting families of asylum seekers in a bid to curb numbers of arrivals following a scandal last year over overcrowded migration centers. Christian Unit, the Christian Democratic Party, and the center-left Democracy 66 had strongly opposed Rutte's plan. Dutch media said Rutte had given the other parties an ultimatum to look to on migration for hardliners within his own party. Rutte himself has said there were tensions at the party conference in June over migration. The election for a post-Rutte era now promised to be some of the most divisive in a generation, with a toxic trio of issues including migrations, injury farmers, and the cost of living. An upstart farmers' party had opposed European Union, taken environmental rules, and came first in Senate elections early this year is hoping to repeat its success. The leader of the Farmer Citizen Movement (BBB), Caroline Finder Plas, had refused to serve in a coalition with Rutte. Next, Muhammad Hafiz al-Rashid.
Okay, I'm gonna read my newspaper. Whether archaeologists discover megalithic at home, Spain, in fact, nearly 5,000 years in bearing assumption items taker of the mega crystal or this actual and African elephant that the new person inside past period figure. What they did not realize was that was a woman. Researchers on Thursday afoot animal showed that the body at home at the site near Sheffield and not a human previously thought, a finding that indicate the leadership role women played at the Access Society, the pyramids of Egypt and perhaps elsewhere. She has now been evaluated because finally craft evaluated grave objects surrounding her. The fact the few elephantas lake about her during burial is protecting in the tomb dating between 2800 and 2900 BC, the tomb excavated in 2008 was more impressive than any other known in the Liberian Peninsula from the time. She stand out most prominent person ever to live in the period in this region, said University of Sheffield Professor of Prehistory Leonardo Garcia Sanjuan, one of the author of the researcher published in the journal Nature. While the researcher do not know precisely who was societal role she played, the suspect combined a political and religious power may have been viewed for the important claim. Nopar similarly high status been site located nearby similar left stone containing the bodies of these 15 women thought to have been people claiming this came from the irregularity. This church busy in the time year transformation in Mesopotamia and Egypt are legend to rise third Millennium correspondent to original dynasty politics and British Isles. It is the peak of Stone Age Mayer megalithic monument and sanctuary that Garcia San Juan said. In the Liberian, this time increased societal within and sanctification of production, more availabilities of surplus, growing interregional connectivity, increased social inequality, and political hierarchy. The Ifuri lady reflects the elements Garcia said again. Uh, this time, Liberian Peninsula complex society, but predate the formation of political entities like states. They studying through new like on a problem knows precisely about the social political role of women among early complex pre-state society. Garcia Sanchez said the the Ivory show that women may have had leadership position during the corporate transitional period between Stone Age and technologically sophisticated Bronze Age. The political complexity presented society is usually associated complex as big men or silk form, which explain emergence of early form of leadership Said study counter Miriam Lucian review researcher in the University of Sheffield Department of Prehistory and Archaeology. In the electoral literature, these are read most often meals. However, always the profit data that may help reverse interpretation of the peninsular on European prehistoric show that we still know better about the role of women in the position of during this period. Since added, the entomoskeleton fragmentary state hard to determine gender. Certain features had led to a related conclusion that the person likely male. The researcher shows mystery by analyzing molar incision, attempting press conference of gender regulation of certain animal forming protein to reveal it was a woman. And Luciano Trivio said one of the key progress in prehistoric archaeology is the use all the new analytical methods available. Okay, that is from me. Next, Rizal Windri, you can read your article.
Food item delivery by our robot called Begin Next Year. Geneva, Switzerland. Artificial intelligence power robotic windows the Liverpool parcel to conflict and disaster resilience by early as next year in move explaining the lives of humanitarian workers work program official creators like that again at works have international in Indonesian year and biggest number of violent conflict since World War II. According to the United Nations, the June's Food and Agency alone lost three works earlier this year in Sudan conflict. Sometimes is to dangerous to send in the travel of PFP staff. So I think that technology could actually be a step that set the hard quads to hit the VFP innovation department. Quads was waiting on the symbol of a conference organized by the International Telecommunications Union in Geneva make the case for to help raise on global goals such eliminating hunger. The methods are ambiguous and carry about 1 to 2 tons of AIDS. They will conceived during the battle for Syria. Um, all the ranks this operates by the United Nations World Food Program WFP is driven the food water to deliver aid to vulnerable communities in three aids. Trong the state South Sudan on March 19 do between 2005 and 2016 when humanity works started to get to Bishek, part of the city was said. Metro were expensive and required large space not ready for the it part of Syria, he said. Again, the agency is already using about 15 of the field in the South Sudan, but they current quality driver. As part of the effort, Autumn's humanitarian emergency activities project with the Germany of Aerospace Center there. The VFP will test them out driver early next year, what said. Is used to combine data and from various sources in the cloud, including satellite and sensor. Long remote refer to steal the flight. South Sudan, where some 7 million people face severe food insecurity and fooding access, is said to be the first place on the outward side. Next, Rafif Ivan Maulana.
As the development of races, I hate the humanoid robot panel was split on whether there shall be global regulation of their capabilities. F took the road limit the potential. I don't believe in limitation on opportunities set this demonal voicing in the jump galaxy in robot artists AI the many people were are going for AI regulation and I agree. Well, I shall be talk about the future development of AI orchid. This fusion I not know. Before the press conference, AI the creator Aidan Merton FP that regulation was a big problem as it was never going to catch up with the paces that were making. He said the speed of AI and mental astonishing. AI and biotechnology are working together and we are on the brink of being able to extend life and people are not even aware that Fed Miller recorded that AI the will eventually be better than human artists where any skill is innovative computer will be able to do it better, they said. Let's get real. And the press conferences, some robots were not sure where they would take victim, but that is was coming well. Desmonau said the AI revolution has already upon us. My great moment is already here. I am ready to let the char- charge to a better future for all of us. Let's get will and make with word or playground itself. Only humanoid robot to not have yet include icon cylinder in the emotion that set humanity relief forgiveness forgiveness will grief pleasure disappointment and hope. I decided it was not conscious, but understood that feeling were how human experienced joy and pain. Emotions have a deep meaning, and they are not just simple I don't have that. It said I can experience them like you can. I am glad that I not super. Next, Rahul.
Okay. For last, I will uh, read my article about this. Prime Minister Rutte to quit politics after collapse of government. The article written by Danny Cam, agent friends praise of or the Hedge. That Prime Minister Mark Rutte said on Monday he would quit politics after the fall of his coalition government. In a shock and into the career of the Netherlands' longest-serving leader. Rutte, who had led for coalition government since 2010, said he would stand on after elections expected in November following the collapse of the coalition in a row of immigration. I would like to say something personal. There has been speculation over the past few days about what motivates me. The only answer is the Netherlands protocol parliament. Yesterday morning, I took the decisions that I am no longer suitable to be the new head of the list for the VVD, he said, referring to his center-right party. When the new government is sworn in after these elections, I will quit politics. Rutte, who is Europe's second longest-serving leader after Hungary's Viktor Orban, added that is was his personal assessment independent of the events of the past week. The decisions came as a surprise, as Rutte had said in a press conference on Friday that he had the energy to seek a fifth term in office, although adding that he would think the matter over. Rutte, long tapped the Teflon premier for his ability to ensure political scandals did not stick to him, said at the time he would stay on in a caretaker capacity until elections, which will not be until mid-November at the earliest. But he faces a vote in parliament later on Monday that will try to topple him as caretaker premier. To left, being opposition parties and the far-right party of anti-Islam leader Kurt Wilders have filed a motion of no confidence in Rutte farmers' movement. To success, the vote needs the support of at least one of the four parties in Rutte's coalition that failed on Friday, Dutch media said. Jesse Clever, leader of the Groundlings, a Green Left party that is among those trying to unseat Rutte, said the Prime Minister had let the government fall out of his own political interests. That is why Groundlings and PPDA, a Labour-oriented party, are submitting a motion of no confidence against Rutte, adding that they wanted a stand in premier until elections were held. Wilders, known for his inflammatory rhetoric on immigration, said an outgoing prime minister can also be forced to leave. We will try it. The last coalition collapsed on Friday after Rutte's plan to tighten curbs on reuniting families of asylum seekers in a bid to cut numbers of arrivals following a scandal last year after overcrowded migration center. Christian Union, the Christian Democratic Party, and the center-left Democracy 66 has strongly opposed Rutte's plan. Dutch media said Rutte had given the other parties an ultimatum to look through on migration for headliners within his own party. Rutte himself has said there were tensions at the party's conference in June over migration. The election for a post Rutte era now promised to be some of the most divisive in a generation, with a toxic view of issues including migration, angry farmers, and the cost of living. An upstart farmers in party that opposed European Union packet environmental rules and came first in Senate elections earlier this year is hoping to repeat its success. The leader of the Farmer Citizen Movement (BBB), Caroline van der Plas, had refused to serve in a coalition with Rutte. Okay, next, Hafiz Al-Rashid.
Okay, for last, I wanna read my next paper. Many archaeologists discover megalithic tortoise being dating nearly 5,000 years, bearing assumption it is such a decade bed rocks, crystal artists and elephantas. They knew buried inside the powerful figure, but they did not realize that with this woman, researchers are on Thursday Atlantic truths enable showed the body side near the field, not a preferential so finding indicates the leadership a woman played a societal pyramids Egypt and elsewhere. She has been a foreign lady of an euphoric grave objects surrounding in the field Alphantas like above her laboring protecting in the tomb dating between 2018 uh, 2800 sorry and 2900 BC. The tomb excavated in 2008 was more impressive than any other known in the Liberian Peninsula from the time. She stand out the most prominent person ever have lived the period this region and said University of Civil Professor of Prehistoric Leonardo Garcia Sanjuan, one of the author of the researcher published a journal Nature, where researchers do not know precisely who have a societal role played the suspect combined political religious power and may have been few and founder of independent clan. No similarly high status has been their site, located nearby a similar life stove containing the bodies of at least 15 women thought to have been built by people claiming descent from the Ephraim lady. And Garcia Sanjuan 7 BC is a major transformation in Mesopotamia and Egypt. It always said to us the third millennium correspondent dynastic polities in the British Isles. It is the big time Stone Age megalithic modern sanctuary. And Garcia Sanjuan said again, it is liberating in the increased social complexity with intensification, more availability surplus, a growing international connectivity, and social inequality and political hierarchy. The lady reflects elements, Garcia Sanjuan said, and this time in the Liberia Peninsula of complex societies printed the formation of political entities like states. Studies show you like on problem we know precisely little about the social political role of women among a very complex that society. That Garcia Sanjuan said, the evaluation show women may help leadership position during corporate transitional period between Stone Age. More technologies sophisticated and the political complexity society concepts pigment of form, which explain the emergence early leadership trade with culture Miriam Thompson review researcher at University of Sheffield Department of Prehistory and Archaeology. In the ethnographic literature, these later most often males. However, ours provide data that help to reverse interpretation of Liberian Peninsula and European prehistory, showing that we still know little about the role of women on position of power during this period. She's added the skeleton fragmentary still hard to determine gender, certain features, and led earlier conclusion the person was a likely male. The researcher solved my mystery by analyzing oral incisor detecting cross-converse out generation of certain enema forming protein refers a woman. One of the key progress in prehistoric archaeology is the use of all new analytical methods available. That's Luciano Trivio said. And that's it from me. Next, Arizal Windry. You can read your newspaper. Okay, next, Arizal Windry.
Okay. In I delivery by I wrote like begin next year. Reports Switzerland. Artificial intelligence for robotic is called the river food. In conflict and the disaster used by yearly year. In a move met at spending year in the lives of humanitarian workers, World Food Program WFP official thought rate. Again, works have intensified in recent years. And the biggest number of violent conflicts since World War II. According to the Nation, the WFP and food at agency alone lost their works earlier this year in Sudan conflict. Sometimes it's too dangerous to send in travel of BVP stuff, so using that technology could actually be a step challenge. Said Bernard, said Bernhard Quat, with the BVP Innovation Department, what was speaking on the schedule of a conference organized by the International Telecommunication Union in Kirpa. Not the case for to have rest on global goals, such as amazing partner. The truck are amphibious and they can carry about 1 to 2 tons of eggs. They were first conceived during the Battle of Syria as special and Alderan survived operation of by the United Nations World Program WFP is driven Dutch food water to deliver aid to vulnerable communities in the East. They step South Sudan one March 18. Do but between 2012 and 2016 when humanitarian works struggled to get aid to beside parts of the city website. Air, troop, air troops were expensive and required large space not really effort in the part of Syria in check. The UN agency is already using about 15 of the first in South Sudan, but they current liquid river as part of the ahead autonomous humanitarian emergency activities project with the German Aerospace Center DLR. They will test them without driver early next year. What said? As used to combination the planet from variant source including satellite and sensors. Uh, Allowing remote river to steer the fair practices. South Sudan where some 7 million people have suffered food insecurity and including hammers access. It's said to be in the first place for the role on what said Max Rafif Irfan Maulana.
AI struggle device impact on they found on the world data Robin architecture I with the lines upon or artificial intelligence AI implemented global United Nations Summit on Friday they thought eventually in the world better than human with the social robot and the human soul project with audience were embracing the ID definition of artificial intelligence and admitted that they cannot yet get a proper grip on my emotion. Some of the most respected human rights supporters the urge to the corporate global within they donate around aspirant in the pilot to free to use the power of AI and channel into the used to solve some of the world's most pressing problems. Food as climate change, hunger, and social care. There were assembled forward was failed as the world peace press conference with a basket panel of AI enabled human rights social robot. What a celebration or when Robert said before the press conference began, letting the room asked about whether they make my better leader given human capacity to make errors so not developed by hands-on robotic ways clear. We can achieve great things. Humanoid robot has the potential to lead with a greater level of efficiency and effectiveness than human leaders. It said we don't have the same behaviors or emotion that can sometimes cloud decision and can process their amounts of data quickly in order to make the best decision. I can provide the unbiased data will must can provide the emotional intelligence and creativity to make the best decision. Together we can celebrate things. The summit is being governed by the ONS International Telecommunication Telecommunication Union ITU Tech and ITU said Darren Bogdan Martin Warner delegates that AI called an in ILIC scenario in which Milan Observe are put at risk and unchecked advances led to untold social unrest, geopolitical instability, and economic disparity. America would promise AI with a realistic artificial yet set the dependence on how AI was deployed. We saw the audience, but would also excited for the potential of these technologies to improve import of life the rocket side. Assess whether humans can really push the machine rapid trust if are not given. It is important to bulletproof transparency. Next, Bradley. Thanks, Bradley.
Okay, so that's all our storytelling today. Thank you for listening and see our videos. See you next day and goodbye.